Hey guys, what's up? It's Joe Rady from Rady's Rides. I'm back here at Moss Acura in North Tampa Bay because guess what? You have asked, you've been knocking down my door email-wise. We have it. This is a 2020 Acura TLX A-spec, but this one doesn't have the 4-cylinder like we've had before. This one has the 3.5 liter V6. But let's talk a little bit about Acura. Acura has been around since 1986, if you could believe that. So many wonderful name badges coming from the brand. I don't know if you remember the Legend, Acura Legend. We talked about, of course, the NSX, the first generation, the new generation, the RSX, the Integra Type R, and just so many other great names coming out of that brand. With the TLX, they really have a mid-size performance sedan, and definitely you'll see, especially when we go on the drive, that this one with the V6 is bringing some of that business. Now, this particular design was done in 2018. That's when they did a refresh. They got rid of that bird beak shield design, and they really have moved in a great direction on the exterior. When it comes to Acura, they have a new motto that they're living their life by every single day: precision performance. And I think you're gonna find some of that in this 2020 TLX A-spec. So let's go ahead, dive right in and see what makes this car special. Right off the bat, I love the black. The black color fits this car to a T. You're gonna have the Acura Jewel LED headlight design, really slim with your daytime running lamp. You can even see inside the housing is the Acura name badge, conveniently placed, just looks very high class. And remember, Acura is the upscale brand of Honda. Now, as we work our way down, I'm really digging the black chrome treatment. You have lower fog lamps, which is great. And then the big zonk of the day is gonna be all this fake vent. Now, there is a few holes. There's a few holes here in the fake vent. That's for the horn to actually be heard. It's a DOT required thing, and that's what that's there. The rest of it is fake though. I wish they would have just kind of smoothed it out. I think that would be a cleaner look. But one thing I really love is as we come across the midsection is this grille. Like I said, they got rid of that bird beak design. I really love the prominent display of the Acura logo, and then everything else is kind of drifting away. Really shows motion sitting still here. Flat black with that black chrome finish. We drop down, and then this part is functional. This is actually open. The one thing I would like to see on this A-spec is the addition of a lower lip spoiler, just enough to come out to give it an even more aggressive look. But definitely in the black, with the way the grille is, I'm loving it. As we go up onto the hood, I really like the way Acura has a nice body line, very prominent down the center, then it fades away. Two higher peaks on the fenders, gives you a great visual reference point from behind the wheel. We come around the bend here, and I just love the way that the flow of it comes around. And then here's what we're looking at when we say A-spec. A-spec is gonna be some extra goodies. So all that black chrome you saw on the front, that is A-spec specific. If you don't get an A-spec, it's not gonna look like that. These wheels are A-spec specific. It's called Shark Gray, the color. Love the design, 19-inch wheel, 245 on the width, 40 series sidewall. Now this one is front wheel drive. You can get optional SH all-wheel drive. You can see the rotor there, fully ventilated. It would have been nice to have some upgraded braking components rather than it just being an appearance package. So that to me is a zonk. I would like to see some nice red Brembos on this thing. I think it would really just work with the wheel and the color of the car. Now, as we go in the fender, very tasteful design with the badging, A-spec, little bit of red there. And then going into the A-pillar here, great flow. They got the paint, of course, on the mirrors, very slim LED lighting, standard sunroof. This one does not have a panoramic. What I do like is because it's black, it's all blacked out on top. I would be zonking it if it was a different color because I think A-spec with the sunroof, the roof should be all blacked out. But it looks good on this totally blacked out A-spec. You can see color matched door handles, a nice lower sill extension. I like the way it kind of comes out on an angle all the way to the rear, and this is a functional piece. It's not just for show. The air's gonna hit here, kick up past the rear fender. Two nice distinct body lines, and then we come around to the tail end of the business. Love the trunk lid spoiler, A-spec specific, very nicely kicked up. Love the design of the tail lights on here. The housings are really sharp looking, your TLX badge. We come down, you're gonna have this rear diffuser area with a very, very smart looking exhaust. Just simple, but looks great. So you have these two round cut, nice slash, little bit of faux venting there, but nothing too crazy. The rest of it though is right spot on the money. Let's go ahead though, pop the hood and see what's powering this TLX A-spec. All right guys, like I promised, underneath the hood of this TLX A-spec is a V6. Now I don't like this engine cover, not really the sexiest of design. It sort of looks like a trash can lid. I do like the way they put the Acura badge in there, which is also nice. And you can see the large strut tower brace that stiffens up the front end of the TLX. But if you want some numbers, here are some numbers. You're looking at a 3.5 liter V6, 290 horsepower, 267 pound-feet of torque. It's all mated through. No, not a CVT. This is a 9-speed automatic transmission. If you're wondering, well, how much does this thing weigh? Weighs around 3,550 pounds, 0 to 60 in about 5.6 seconds, quarter mile in about 14.1 with a top speed around 130 miles an hour. And if you're wondering, well, what are the MPGs? You're looking at about 21 in the city and about 35 on the highway, which is very, very commendable and respectable. Everything else though, underneath the hood is great. I just would like a different engine cover. But why don't we go ahead, fire up this TLX and see what it sounds like. All right, guys, we're inside the Acura TLX A-spec. I know you're probably saying, well, Joe, we've heard some of the pricing from the other TLXs that you brought to the channel. How much is this one? MSRP is around $44,000. That is front-wheel drive with the V6. Let's see what you get with the money. Now, pure sexiness going on. I love the red with the black contrast. The black exterior with the A-spec specific red trim. I love the black contrast stitching. Of course, soft material all over the door with a little bit of silver trim as well. Very, very tasteful. We go from the door panel to the dash. Nice soft material. You can see the nice textured wood grain shape going on here with some silver. This is where it's gonna get a little zonky. The ride's gonna get a little zonky. This dual screen setup was not really taken care of when they redesigned the exterior for 2018. So you have 7-inch display with your navigation up top, and then down below another 7-inch display. Obviously it is touchscreen, which is very nice. You can get into your seat controls, heated and ventilated, very nicely done. Does have Apple CarPlay, which is important, I know, for a lot of people, but I'm hoping, I'm praying, I'm sending letters that they switch to just one screen for the redesign. I do like the silver. I like the way it comes angled out because it's close to your hand. You do have your controller here to control what's going on with your navigation. A nice bright red start-stop button. Some excellent silver finish. I'm liking this finish as well. It almost looks like a wood. It doesn't show fingerprints. You push this back, look at that. Wireless charging. You also have some connectivity, a USB and a 12-volt, all conveniently placed. We close that up. That slides back. 2 cup holders. Here is your standard Acura key fob. So basically it looks almost just like a Honda one, just with the Acura badge and a little bit of silver going on in the back. This is gonna control that 9-speed automatic transmission, dynamic mode. You could go into different modes, which I'll show you in a second. I like the silver and the silver here. Armrest is nicely padded, that beautiful red with the stitch work. Open it up, you got a place for some Little Debbie, those oatmeal snacks. Really think that that would be smart. You could kind of stack them in there standing up. Another 12-volt and an aux jack and a little place for some Jolly Ranchers, a little Jolly Rancher tray. That's smart. Seats, sexy. I love the red leather. The stitch work is great. Really think that it's smart to have the nice electric controls on both sides with the piping. You put some piping, black piping on a seat, and it just looks so much more classier than without. Up top, you have your standard sunroof. Like I said before, it would be nice to have a panoramic sunroof, but you do have a frameless mirror, which is a nice touch. But why don't you get on the business side over here behind the wheel, and I'll show you what's going on with the TLX A-spec. All right, guys, business end behind the wheel. Here are some of the touches. You get a nice welcome to an A-spec badge on this aluminum trim here, which is nice. You do get brushed aluminum dead pedal, but what's bizarre is you get your standard pedals for brake and the throttle. That to me is a zonk. They should have brought it all the way across. One thing that is not a zonk is this steering wheel. A piece of heaven. It almost feels like it's a steering wheel out of the NSX. Great thickness. It would have been nice to have some red contrast stitching in there. You do have a nice A-spec logo and some of that silver trim, thumb controls, and then there's our dash setup. So we have analog tach, analog speedometer, fuel and cooling gauge, and then you have that information portion in the center, which is a nice touch, and you could toggle through all sorts of information there at the top, your fuel, your oil life. Real easy to read, real easy to see. Seats fit snug as a bug in a rug. I really like that, and I got plenty of headroom. But why don't we go ahead, check out the back seat of the A-spec TLX and see how your passenger is going to be loving it. All right, guys, back seat time in the TLX A-spec. You do have the seats. I really like the way they put black leather on the back, pockets for both people. You can put your Slim Jims, you can put your Twizzlers in there. You do have rear AC. No 12 volt, no USB, and a $40,000 car, high trim level. That is a major zonk. Let's check out the armrest. Armrest is not a zonk. Soft as a baby's butt. You got a place for your Tootsie Rolls, 2 drinks, good to go. Flip it back. The red interior is awesome in here. Let's go ahead, check out the trunk, and see how much room we have in your TLX A-spec. All right, guys, time to pop the trunk. It's a little tiny postage stamp of a size, but you just have to kind of search for it. You pop it open, and there she is. A nice wide opening. I like the pockets on both sides. You can see that those seats are gonna do a 60-40 tango split, which is really nice. And if you want to crunch some numbers, let's crunch some numbers. Trunk volume with the seats up is gonna be 14 cubic feet of space. I think the most impressive part is how wide the opening is to the trunk. But why don't we go ahead, enough talking about this TLX. If you're ready, I'm ready. Let's take the TLX A-spec for a spin. All right, guys, we're in the Acura TLX A-spec with the V6. You do have that dynamic mode, and you are able to switch from Sport Plus to Econ to Normal and Sport. So we have it, of course, in Econ. Not negative on that one. We have it in Sport Plus. That's going to change all the parameters of the 9-speed automatic, the V6, and the steering and feedback. But these seats are a little bit of heaven because they have a little bit of side bolstering, but comfort-wise, amazing. And I love the red. The red is so smart in this car that's black. It just hits it off perfect. I'm just not digging the split screen. It just seems like a waste of space. And even though this screen for the AC controls and all that, radio controls, is close to you, it's still very cumbersome to use. You know, to get into your seat options and stuff, you got to use the touch screen. I'd rather just have a simple button or a switch. Visibility out the front is great. Back window's a little tight, especially with the center headrest. But other than that, side mirrors are good. And overall, just, I like the way I feel sitting in this car. And that says a lot about it. Instrumentation, straightforward. The only challenge is your passengers in the back seat. If their technology dies, they have no way of charging it back there. They're gonna have to bother you. You're gonna have to open up your areas, take your phone out or whatever you got plugged in, and then plug their stuff in. So that to me just seems like a missed opportunity. Another missed opportunity was to put some better paddles on the back of the steering wheel. These small paddles, they're too small, so we're zonking the size and we're zonking how cheap the plastic feels. So not really digging that, but you do have the paddles to go up and down the automatic transmission. I think my favorite part, besides the seats, is the steering wheel. The steering wheel has very, very nice leather. Obviously, it's tilting and telescoping as well, so that is a big plus. Right, guys, acceleration test from a slow roll, about 19 miles an hour on throttle, in sports sharp. It gets up and goes. That V6 on the brakes, pedal feedback is nice. The feedback to the steering wheel is amazing. This is where Acura and Honda earns their money. Would be nice to have the SH all-wheel drive, but still pretty good grip coming from a front-wheel drive car. If I pushed a little bit harder, I would have had the front end pushing on me a little bit, which is understeer. But still very, very capable, even in the front-wheel drive setting of this particular Acura TLX A-spec. Right, guys, I'm going to use the paddles on the back of the steering wheel. We're in second gear on throttle. Shifts are very, very smooth. On the brakes, downshift. Really nice handling here. Decreasing radius. Little bit of push, but not too bad. I actually, to be honest with you, you might as well just leave it in automatic mode. The automatic transmission in this car shifts very, very well through those twisty bits by far, rather than using the cumbersome paddles on the back of the steering wheel. All right, guys, one more time through the twisty bits. I'm just gonna leave it in automatic mode. Drops down. On the brakes. Turning is nice. Feedback is wonderful. Holds a line for a front-wheel drive car, holds a line very, very well. Very smooth. And the wonderful thing about this car is when the road gets twisty, yes, you could have some fun, but even on your regular drive, going over the ripped up sections of pavement and stuff, the way that the suspension is tuned, it's sporty, but it's not gonna abuse you, which is really nice. It has a nice ride to where you feel in control, but you're also able to go hundreds of miles and still be as fresh as a daisy. And I think that's where Acura really knocked it out of the park. All right, guys, hopefully this gave you a nice overall feel about the Acura TLX A-spec with the V6. Definitely has plenty of power, 290 horsepower. I think if there's any more horsepower, the front wheels would not be able to manage it at all. And that's where all-wheel drive would be for sure a must. But we're gonna go ahead, get back to Moss Acura and wrap this one up, so I'll see you in a split second. All right, guys, been a wonderful day here at Moss Acura, North Tampa. Definitely gonna thank Taylor, JC, Jeshua, the whole crew here, of course, David Moss Sr. and David Moss Jr., getting us access not only to a TLX A-spec, but the one that you guys wanted, the one with the V6. If these are the types of cars that you wanna see, these mid-size performance luxury sedans that really have a great look to them, leave a comment in the comment section. If you are new and you're on your way out, hit the subscribe button. I promise you it's worthwhile coming back for more. If you are a subscriber, thank you for being part of the Raised Rise family. If you want to help us keep making great content just for you on the channel, click the link in the description, get yourself some Raised Rise merch. Got to give it up to Big Guns McGee, Tom Motion, working the camera like a champ, getting this TLX for you guys. And just like always, I'll see you on the next ride.